that your password has been found in a leak and you should change it. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it someday, but I have no idea what it would be if I changed it, so I don't change it. Like, so if anybody ever figures out what my password is, they'll totally hack like everything I have.
As soon as I started YouTubing, I made sure that the password for my Google account that was tied to it was like the most secure password I've ever made. Like, I usually just use the same password for everything because I suck. But with that one, I was like, nope.
So we're live, by the way, but we're still talking about this because whatever.
And my password is ABC123. He. Look at me.
I'm gonna give you a hint as to what my password is. You'll never guess it because it's so random. But I always pick 3 Pokemon, and then I pick a special character and a number, and then that's my password. So.
That's pretty cool. Well, I know the special character and the number because that's the same trick. I use your
reveal my special character and number.
I use your exact special character and number in my password.
Oh, that's great.
Just gotten into the habit of doing &5, so every time.
Oh gosh. Okay, people, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm gonna put a note in the show notes of my.
By the way, if you guys have any news to share today, that'd be great. Because the only thing I've got is that one thing, and it's definitely not gonna take us half hour. So think on the fly.
I mean, there's a couple of things, but they're not like huge. Like the new Pokemon is hitting Netflix, I think, next month or the end of the month or something like that. So that's.
I saw the trailer for that, and it was like a brand new Pokemon series. I was like, "Oh, what's it gonna be? Is it gonna be live action? Is it gonna be like Detective Pikachu?" And I see it, and it's just Leon and his little brother and freaking anime. I'm like, okay.
It's another Pokemon.
Yeah, it's the end of the summer, so it's usually kind of dead news wise. I'll look though, but I don't expect too much from your good old Eugene.
I know there have been rumors that we're supposed to get a Nintendo Direct soon, but nothing from Nintendo about it.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Put a note. I gotta move it because I already put a note, but it's back here now, and here we go.
Can't get enough of Infendo Radio?
Ooh, that's probably loud, huh? We never leveled that. Are you still too loud?
I'm a little loud.
Can't get enough of Infendo Radio? Head to Can't get enough of...
Can't get enough of my voice?
Did you say the music should go up?
Yeah, music should go up a little bit. Lukas sounded okay, maybe a little loud, but...
Yeah, I had the exact opposite reaction. I was like, music's fine, I'm a little loud. So do with that what you will, Eugene.
All right, so... I guess the consensus is the music needs to go up and Lukas needs to go down.
Or vice versa.
Oh, thank you. Let's find out who did something. Host 00312 just followed us on Twitch, so thanks.
There's our hacker. There's the guy.
That's the guy.
In case anybody was wondering, 2021 is now 69% complete.
Nice. Hey, I would just like to, since we're late on this thing anyway, and we're doing this thing, I just like to thank everybody who's subscribed to us lately, because it's been a few of you, and it's like we've been doing this show for a while, and we don't have the biggest listener base out there, but we've been getting some subscriptions, so thank you, all of you who subscribed just now, you who subscribed this week. You who subscribed last show, everybody, thank you guys. We really appreciate you.
100%. Yeah, like I hope you enjoy the show. Listen to the podcast if you're new. We're happy to have
There's 2 ways to enjoy the show. You can laugh at us for being so bad at this, or you can just genuinely enjoy it. So whatever you're doing.
Take your pick. Let us know on infendo.com. Here we fucking go.
Maybe don't let us know if it'll hurt our feelings.
Can't get enough of Infendo Radio? Head to infendo.com and see everything else we're up to.
Creating overwhelming urges to buy Nintendo crap since 2005. Infendo Radio is on now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infendo Radio, episode 611. We need to reboot the show at this point. This is stupid how many episodes of this podcast there are. My name is Lukas. I am the one who introduces us all at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. However, I am not the progenitor of the modern incarnate of Infendo Radio. That title goes to Eugene Allen. Eugene, buddy, friend, pal, co-worker. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm the original Infendo vampire that bit all the rest of these guys, so they're my underlings. But I'm doing great. Go to Infendo.com if you want to find out how great we're doing. Otherwise, just enjoy the show, enjoy the stream.
Yes, enjoy the stream. Somebody who's always enjoying streams is Justin. Justin.
Holy crap.
Yes.
Sorry, a giant spider has just wandered past me.
As you can tell, he's very focused on the show.
Well, I was focused until the giant spider walked by.
Justin, when you're not being accosted by giant spiders, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at InfendoJustin, and you can find my Disney and Disney World related writings and podcastings and other ings at thedisneyparkbench.com.
Excellent. Truly excellent. People, we have a show for you tonight. We're going to talk about a little bit of news that's piquing my curiosity and some stuff that these guys found too, which will probably be interesting. Not as interesting as my news, but interesting. We're going to tell you about the games we've been playing and how great all those are. So, we don't need to take a break. I don't know why I'm setting this up like that. Let's get right into it. I am a member of several DMs on Discord because I'm very popular. And in one of those groups, my friend just revealed a couple hours ago that apparently we're getting a Knights of the Old Republic remake for that Star Wars game that I like so much. This is the BioWare RPG that I'm always talking about and telling you guys how much I love and how much I would love to have it be remade because it's such a good game, but it's really old and everything. We're getting a remake. Now, unfortunately, it seems to just be the first one right now, which is a shame because the one I really played a lot of was the sequel. I liked the sequel a little bit more, but I am intent on playing the first one too and experiencing everything it's got to offer. For those of you who don't know, I guess, like this game is like, to me, I'm not a big Star Wars guy. Like I've watched all the movies. I think they're fine, Steve, but I'm not like super enthused by them or anything. They don't do a lot for me. I think people hate me when I say that I think out of all of them, I liked the 2000s ones the best, the prequels, because they were a little bit more like action-y and animated and stuff, but they weren't as boring and like gritty and weird as like the modern ones were. I just find the old ones like really cheesy because they were like 70s movies or whatever. But I like the universe of. I'm done bashing on everyone's favorite series now. We'll save that for the Breath of the Wild segment. But I like the universe that Star Wars has. I like the universe Star Wars has created. I don't really like the movies that much, but I really like the world and all the characters and all the designs and stuff, And Knights of the Old Republic lets you become a Jedi or a Sith in that universe and kind of explore this whole, like all of these characters that join up with you and have varying degrees of loyalty based on your decisions and the path that you choose. You get to choose which allies to befriend and who to get close to. There's even like a relationship segment, at least in the second one, where you can actually get together with somebody and like form like a super special bond, also known as love, I guess. You can make your own lightsaber. You can kill people off. It's a really cool game. I remember in the sequel, when you play as a woman, you can even do the dancing at like Jabba's palace is like a part-time job for a segment. Like there's a quest where you have to like infiltrate Jabba's palace and everything. I don't think it was pod racing, but there was like a race that you could bet on. There was like an in-world card game. You could visit taverns and like it was just it's so much fun. I really like these games. So
I can feel your
I'm
love for this game pulsating. It's actually getting me excited.
Oh yeah.
I was really hoping that this would come out on Switch. Thus far, it doesn't seem like, even if they just ported the original Xbox version, because I think the Switch would be the perfect place for it, portable and all that. But I will hold out hope. The developer of it, Aspire, has released some other Star Wars games. They re-released Episode 1 Racer and the Jedi Knight games. So maybe they're working on this for the Switch, but right now it seems to be a timed exclusive for, what was it, PS5 and PC?
It's a timed exclusive for PS5. It will be coming to PC at a later date. We don't even have a date for PS5 yet. Probably, I would imagine, as early as next year, but who can say? I don't think there's been any official date release announcement yet. So yeah, unfortunately, this is a Nintendo podcast. No news on a Nintendo port, but get it on PC. It's worth it.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go anyways. If you've got a somewhat modern laptop, I'm guessing the Steam version will be able to handle it,
Well, and if I remember right, one of the versions on Steam of the originals, either 1 or 2, because I know I've got them both on Steam. Again, I didn't really put as much time into 1 because I really bonded with the characters in 2 as a kid, because my dad had it on the old Xbox and I used to play it at night and stuff.
Sure. It's funny. I just realized I have it on my Xbox One. I don't know whether it was a Game Pass game or I bought it on sale, but I could have been playing it all this time on any of my Xbox systems, and again, just the time commitment.
Sure.
Well, bust it out. What I was going to say was one of those games, I think it's the first one, is not gamepad compatible on Steam, as I recall. So I hooked up my controller, I went to start playing it, and nothing happened. And then I looked it up, and they were like, yeah, there is no way to use a controller with this version of the game or whatever. So that was kind of a weird experience, having to mouse and keyboard it. But
right.
Yeah. So it'll be nice to actually play it with a controller. I assume that's what they'll do for a Steam release, but
I would hope, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would feel kind of awkward not to, especially since, Justin was saying, the old ones were on the Xbox, So.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
All right, well, that's my news and everything I wanted to talk about tonight. Do you guys have anything interesting that we can discuss?
I mean, I do, but all right, well, let's get it out of the way now, because it could come up and change the system, but I was planning on bringing it up at some point tonight. And Lukas, you'd be the only person with any experience with this, but I'm sure you've heard all of the news about the Sonic Colors glitches.
Oh, how crazy buggy it is. Yeah, so right. Let's talk about that, I guess, for a moment.
So apparently, Sonic Colors has some pretty egregious graphical glitches on the Switch version, but also that these glitches have been blown out of proportion because they only happen after a thing has been done that you're not likely to do during regular gameplay, and it's easy to fix. So, have you run into this? Is this a terrible game-breaking thing?
So remember how crazy hype excited I was for this game last week, and how it was coming out at midnight and all that stuff. And I've played the first level so far. So no,
sounds about like me.
I haven't experienced it yet. I'm looking forward to digging into this game, but no, I really
I thought
haven't.
you were saying that you only played the first level because it was glitchy as hell and I hated it, but no, it's just that you just haven't had.
No, I woke up that morning before work. I played the first level. I clocked in, and then that night I went back on Warframe, and that was my experience with Sonic Colors so far. So, looking forward to experiencing it. What I will say is, apparently, it's only 30 FPS on Switch. It's not as pretty as you would hope on the Switch, at least on handheld. Maybe on console, on TV play, it's better. But I played it on handheld, and it's fine, but it very much looks like a Wii game. It does not look shiny and new and pretty and everything. It looks like a 10-year-old game. So that's a bit of a disappointment. I do remember there were a lot of bloom effects, and I'm seeing a lot of bloom in the game, every which way. So
well, that apparently is one of the things that tends to glitch out when you get the glitch. But I can't remember who. I think it might have been Nintendo Life that did a video about it and said, yes, the graphics get really messed up, but you have to go to the main menu and then or you have to be in the level and then back out to the main menu and then back into the level in order to trigger the glitch, and it's just something that's not like, it feels like one of those things that the internet is blowing out of proportion because, you know, the internet does that sort of thing. I was just wondering what your experience was with it. I'd love to play this game because I've heard it is, you know, one of the few good Sonic games since
That's a very Justin way to put it, but yes.
Well, all right. Since the Genesis / arguably Dreamcast era, the Sonic games have been critically and commercially hit or miss at best. And this was one of the kind of universally praised Sonic games. So I was really interested in playing it. I was just curious whether anybody else had encountered any like game-breaking glitches, but it seems that you haven't, and maybe your story will change next week.
Not so far. I'm pretty sure my Switch is asleep right now at the beginning of the second level. Like, I don't think I've even touched my Switch since the last time I played. So, yeah, no. It's waiting for me. It's just a matter of, like, when will I prefer to do that over farming for time-limited resources in the online game that's taking up all of my free time?
I was going to say, it seems like your Warframe is, like, even maybe more so than when Grendel's Cave was engulfing my life for, like, 2 months. That seems like what you've got going on with Warframe, you know?
Well, it's like, and I guess we can kind of deviate into this for a minute, but that is kind of like an issue that I have with gaming today, is that, like, a lot of games really do ask for a lot of your time, you know, and it's enjoyable. It's not like work, you know, it's not like, oh, I got to grind out these 50 Glemflarks or I'm never going to have enough dash to modify my shooter. You know, it's not like that kind of like painful stuff, but it's just, you know, it's like kind of gone are the days of just sitting back on a Sunday afternoon. I'm going to sound so old and boomerish right now, but gone are the days of sitting back and just popping open a game and playing it because you like the story, you know, or because you just want like a simple experience kind of thing. It seems, for me at least, it seems like lately it's all about like, I got to get that dough, I got to earn that cash, you know. Gaming is a lifestyle. Like,
that's kind of how I feel with Mortal Kombat 11, which is funny because for like the first 2 years I had that game, I barely played any of it, and then suddenly discovered, hey, I can actually earn coins and unlock more stuff by doing these challenges. So every day I log in, I check and see what there is to purchase, I do the challenges, and like that's usually about a half hour every night. Like, it's become my Animal Crossing. Like, it's the game that I play every night because I got to do these things or they'll disappear.
Well, and there's like a community incentive, right? So like the other night I was playing and I wanted to farm for this particular thing that I wanted to get. There's a prime character that I wanted to unlock that are hidden behind. They're not really loot crates because you don't pay for them, but they're like crates that you have to open with like in-game, you know, currency and stuff that has a random chance of dropping what you want. And I found this group of people who were all going for the same thing. And we ended up like communicating and friending each other and like going out on other missions to like get the things that we needed to do the first thing. And it was like there was like a communal experience to it, you know? I started going into the market and like buying and selling stuff that I don't need for like in-game currency and stuff. It's like, it really does feel like stepping into like an MMO, which is really fun, but it's just so different from sitting down and just playing Pokemon Snap for like an afternoon and just not, you know, it's not about the achievement, it's about just experiencing something. I haven't done enough of that lately. I
totally get that because there's just something about diving into a game that you know is going to have like a definitive end, right? Like anymore, every game is like, no, you know, you're going to have to. I remember when one of the first times I experienced it in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, actually, there was like the prestige system, right? You get all the way up to 40, but hey, if you want to like go all the way down to level 1 again, we'll give you like a little star thing or whatever as on your avatar. So everybody would, you know, keep going all the way back to level 1, but then for me, it was like, well, I don't really want to go back to level 1. I don't want to have to go earn all that stuff all over again type of thing, you know? So I just missed when games had an end. A lot of games just don't end anymore, you know? So I'm with you on that, Lucas.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm kind of excited about, a new Metroid game, because, you're just going to sit down, you're going to play it for, a dozen hours or so, and you'll reach the end, and then you can put it away. Like, those are the type of games that I would normally buy physically, because I know that after, I put my time into it, I won't have to carry it around with me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be talking a little bit more about that when Change the System comes around, because I've got some stories. But yeah, no, exactly. When I finally do sit down and have my Sunday afternoon gaming session, I know the game I want to play. It's Bug Fables. I've had that game on the back burner for like 6 months, and I haven't touched it. So excited to sit down and just play it, just for the experience, because I know I'm gonna love it. I played like the first chapter and I fell in love with it. But yeah, I haven't been doing that kicking back kind of thing and just relaxing and playing a game. I should really make a habit of like once a week, even just switching it up and playing something like that. More like reading a book than playing a game,
It's
I'm gonna do that.
It's kind of nice.
We'll hold you to it.
Although I will say that for me, this is a weird tangent, but like I'm the type of person who, when I'm eating something, I have to like eat the whole thing of one before I move on to like the next side dish. So I'll have to eat like all of my corn before I eat my mashed potatoes.
I'm the opposite, which explains my.
Go ahead.
See, I'm the opposite, which explains why my games never get finished, because, like, if we go out for sushi, I'll get 3 different sushi rolls, and I'll eat one of each, then I'll eat another of each, and then I'll eat another, and then usually end up taking half of it home, and then, doing it that way.
I am chaotic neutral when it comes to eating food. I will mix and match whatever. So like I might be like, peas and mashed potatoes is the taste I'm craving, and I'll do that. Then I'll be like, country fried steak and mashed potatoes with gravy, and then it's peas and country fried steak, and like just whatever whim suits me at the moment. And I feel like that's how I play games too, which is why I've been playing nothing but Warframe, because like every night when I'm done with everything and I'm like ready to just hang out for the night, I'm like, I feel like playing more of the same game I've been playing for the last month. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just to finish my thought there. That carries over to my gaming, right? I have to finish for whatever reason.
You won't be able to play the other games until you do Skyward Sword. And,
Although I do have like I think of my games in like 2 categories, basically. Like my multiplayer game that I'm playing, and like my single player game that I'm playing. And so basically I'm juggling 2 at any point. But yeah, that's kind of how I live my life.
I get that. Well, that kind of ate up our news segment. I think we'll be right back with more of the games we've been playing. So
or not playing.
After a word from these not sponsors, because we don't have any sponsors.
Sorry. Hello, Twitch and the multi-stream. Actually, we've got a few lurkers because nobody's actually in chat, but it looks like there's people actually viewing us tonight. So welcome.
Greetings from the multi-stream.
All right, let's go ahead and level out the audio and start the show. We're gonna go with this Chozo Temple music. That sounds ominous. The Chozo Ruins entrance with an oldie but a goodie. How does this sound?
Ask a question for the show today. Head over to Infendo.com's community page and join our Discord. Ask
a little
question
awkward
for the show
since he hasn't been a host in a while, but otherwise fine.
I saw his name in there. I was like, okay, why not? We own the rights to
it's
him
our way
saying
it's
that.
our way of keeping him in our hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we own his voice legally.
And plus...
legally, Steve can't talk about video games without, giving us royalties.
And plus, he's not here tonight, so when he hears himself, when he listens to the show inevitably tonight or tomorrow, he'll probably message us, so that'll be fun.
There's going to be a day where he's just like, guys, I'd like to request that you no longer... it's going to happen.
I never got any feedback on the audio. It sounded
You were
good,
fine.
right?
You were
Okay,
fine.
cool.
You were fine. Yeah, I turned it into a joke instead, so, my bad.
Well, let's go.
Ask a question for the show today. Head over to Infendo.com's community page and join our Discord.
Collecting overwhelming urges to buy a Nintendo crap. Hello and welcome back to Infendo Radio, guys. We're going to talk about the games we've been playing. It's called Change the System. We do it every week. It's a lot of fun. It's basically what you just heard, but planned. So with that in mind, Eugene, buddy, friend, pal, coworker, you want to go first and talk about the games you've been playing? Because I know you've been playing a few that have piqued my interest.
Yeah, sure. So I have been playing... Well, I guess let me talk... I said it was going to be short, but I think it might actually be a little longer now that I think about all the games I've been playing since last week.
Here we go.
I finished Fusion. Love that game.
Metroid Fusion.
Yeah. I still love the dialogue between Samus and the commander, that's still...
Adam.
Yeah, Adam. Okay, I always forget the name. Adam. How could I forget? But a lot of people don't, and I don't know. It just kind of added a little bit something for me. I just don't get it,
So, I apologize. There's a little latency, which is why I'm always cutting you off tonight. But as the boy who read all the manga in high school and fell in love with the Metroid universe, as it were, Other M and Fusion were just the cap to that plot, because in those comics, you see Samus working for the Galactic Federation under Adam. There's the whole plot where she goes off and becomes a bounty hunter. You see her Chozo adoptive parents after Ridley kills her parents and everything. So it was getting that closure with the whole Adam plot between those games, where Adam dies in Other M and then is brought back on as the ship's AI in Fusion. I loved that, man. It just It felt like they were really embracing that kind of side story that was never explored in the games. And totally. I'm a huge fan of that. I think that's really cool. So.
Yeah, and it for me, this game, I mean, it wasn't a horror game necessarily, right? But as
the SAS.
Yeah, as the SAS is stalking you and Adam, gives you the ominous, okay, we just, spotted the SAS in this sector. Be careful, that type of thing. It's oh, okay, well, maybe. I love this game a lot. It was a joy to play it again. I'm glad that I'm an ambassador, so I was able to enjoy it on my 3DS.
Can I ask you a question about your opinion on this? Because this is kind of a thing that I've always felt kind of weird about. Metroid is... I'm going to talk about Super Metroid because that's the one that I've been playing now. But Metroid is kind of an exploration game in general, right? With the exceptions, I think, being Other M and Metroid Fusion. Both of those games are kind of linear and story and okay, you're going to Sector 3. Now you're going to Sector 2. Very, very plain. They kind of take out all the guesswork and stuff. How do you feel about that? Because I always feel dirty for liking those games as much as I do, right? Because they kind of throw away it's I really like those games, but it feels so weird to like them so much because I love the exploration stuff too.
See, I think what I like about them, and this is one of the reasons I like Zero Mission more than the original Metroid or even Super Metroid, is it doesn't give you a precise path. So it says, okay, you're here, you need to go there. And that's all you know. There's a little dot on the map. You have to figure out how to get there. And along the way, you can do the additional exploration. Hey, this wall looks suspicious. Let me try bombing it. Or, hey, what happens if I go here? I think, one of the things I didn't like about Super Metroid is how absolutely just head-poundingly opaque it can be. Where, like, you could just spend, if you don't have a guide, you don't know what you're doing, you could spend hours just wandering around in circles, having no idea where to go next, or what you're even supposed to do. And I like that, at the very least, Metroid Fusion, Zero Mission, Samus Returns, they say, okay, you need to go over here. We're not going to tell you how to get over here. We're not going to tell you what to do once you get here. But you know that if you're not going in this general direction, you're wrong.
You're going wrong.
Yeah.
I think that helps. I think that helps make the games more enjoyable for me.
I'm of two minds on that one, and it's actually kind of leads into the next game I've been playing in Skyward Sword, in that yes, there is a formula for Metroid, right? Like, that there's, since the original, it's kind of exploration. You get the next item to open the next door, to explore the next area that's probably going to, be a different biome or whatever. So yeah, it was a little different, obviously with with Fusion on that one, but I didn't dislike it, much like with Skyward Sword, where there wasn't a there wasn't like necessarily a whole world to explore, because you just kind of get there from the sky, and the sky just kind of acts almost like a hub world in a sense. But I still enjoyed it, because it's not what I was expecting, but Nintendo didn't give me what I was expecting, but they gave me what I needed, basically,
Yeah, it doesn't detract from the experience. It's just a different kind of experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Skyward Sword is much the same way, where it tells you this is where you have to go next, and you can just go straight for it. But you are rewarded for going off the beaten path and discovering those, those cubes that unlock the treasure chests on the sky and stuff like that.
Totally.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it doesn't have
bugs that can upgrade your gear and stuff.
Yeah, all I was going to say was, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I was trying to come up with the most linear Zelda game that I've ever played, right? And it might be Majora's Mask, because that is very much point A, point B. Honestly, I kind of think it's Wind Waker, you guys. As I'm thinking about Wind Waker, there's a lot of open space, a la Breath of the Wild, but not much of it is filled with stuff. And it's very much like, go to this island, go to that island, go to that island. There's very little we have to find an item to get into this island, and we're not going to tell you where it is. It's all very much like, okay, now you go here, now you go there, now you go there, now you go there. Now you're done with the game,
I think there's
up until the Triforce quest, and everybody agrees that's like the worst part.
I was going to say, I think there's one point where you can deviate. You can either go to this temple or that temple, but I think there's one spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
but it doesn't have...
Majora's Mask has that too. You don't necessarily have to do the 4 temples in the particular order, but it's clearly designed to kind of lead you in that direction.
I actually had that experience with Ocarina of Time for many, many years. I used to always do the desert temple third. I would get everything I needed.
I didn't know you could do it that early. Yeah, I knew that the Spirit Temple and the Shadow Temple could be interchanged, but I didn't know you could do...
The Shadow Temple was always my last one. I want to say it might have been 4th, but I know that after I got through, usually with I think the Water Temple, I could go straight to the desert and do that, because all you needed really was the Lens of Truth to see the ghost, and then the ability to travel back and forth through time, which was just the Ocarina. So I think that was how I used to do it. All I remember is I used to do the Desert Temple really early, and I used to do the Ghost one last, because I hated it, because it felt so out of place with the rest of the game,
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that is my least
now I'm just
favorite.
Rambling.
That's my least favorite dungeon for sure too. But I guess
it's gross.
Which one?
The Shadow.
Whichever one, not Spirit, Shadow.
The one that's in the bottom of the well.
Yeah, the one with all the dead bodies and the gross food that's made out of bone. Yeah, and the guillotines.
That dungeon is pretty much the entirety of Shadow Man. Take that aesthetic and stretch it into a 3D Metroidvania game, and you pretty much have it.
Right. Totally. So yeah, but again, like to kind of finish my thought on that one, it's when I'm playing these games, if I'm thinking of them critically, because sometimes it's like, oh well, maybe I would review it like this, I would score it like this, right? I always think to myself, okay, what if like this strip Metroid everything or strip Zelda everything from it? What if it was just a game that I was playing from some developer? Like, how would I feel about it, you know? And then it's like, well, then I wouldn't really care about like the old trappings of the old games type of thing. Of course,
right.
Of course, that's unavoidable in some parts, right? Because of the story that links to other past games. But that's kind of how I try and think of the things. And when I played Fusion, and when I'm playing a Skyward Sword now, I just feel like this is just an incredible experience, you know, especially going back to Skyward Sword. I do want to talk about that a little bit before I pass the baton. I'm getting to a point where I am really, really enjoying the story. Not that I didn't before, but like a lot of events are starting to happen. So like Groose events, basically, you know, like Groose is one of my favorite all-time Zelda characters, you know, so like really watching him, the heel turn that he's going through right now.
Grows. Yeah. He develops as a character, and it's so meaningful, you know? Like, oh, I love it. He's so three-dimensional. Like,
totally. Yeah, like he has a reverse heel turn, right? Like he's evil in the beginning. Like he traps your loft wing and everything, but like the love of Zelda, he's like the creepy bully who's hitting on the girl that you like, but then you find out that he genuinely likes her and he just wants what's best for people. And like he learns from the old lady, and it's so cool, man. I love it.
Yeah. By the way, that's called a heel face turn when they go from evil to good. The opposite would obviously be a face heel turn when they go from good to bad.
Thank you for
I want to do like a thanks, Professor, but I don't have.
No, but actually, I'm really genuinely.
What's funny is it's like an old. It's funny because they're old wrestling terms, and I couldn't care less about wrestling, but I've heard the terms used enough times that I'm like, I wonder where this comes from and what it means.
Right.
I think I learned it from TV tropes.
Oh, don't even get me started on that website. That's a whole night of my life just gone in a flash.
One night? My God, I think I've spent hours of work time, not current job, but previous jobs, just staring at this. Anywho.
Never current job. What else have you been playing?
That's it, man. That's it. Who's next?
Justin?
All right. Mine's gonna be pretty brief. I haven't played a whole lot of anything, which is typical, but it's even less of anything than usual. I think most of what I've played, besides the usual, daily dips into Picross and Mortal Kombat, is Skyward Sword. And I really just wanted to express one opinion I have on that. One of the biggest complaints of Skyward Sword is how linear it is, and how there is no open world exploration like there are in all of them. And I think what contributes to that problem are those glowy goddess cube things that unlock the treasure chests, because I realized those unlock in a particular order. So they could have really helped the sky area to reward exploration by, you've unlocked a goddess cube and it's unlocked a treasure chest, but you have no idea where it is. So you have to explore the world to find it. Or, it'll tell you where it is, but it's in a random location so that you don't always go to this island and then to this island. And then So I wish they had done something about that in the Switch version. That's really my only complaint about this port or transition or remaster, whatever you want to call it, is that they didn't randomize the goddess cube / treasure chest thing, because I think that would have really helped make the game feel a little less linear and make exploring the sky more rewarding. But besides that, I mean, everything Eugene said, I like that it kind of points you in the right direction and you always kind of know where you're going and what to do. I didn't like it the first time I played it. I've grown to appreciate it. I think in the complete absence of it with Breath of the Wild, it's nice to kind of have the flip side of it, where, you know, like Link's Awakening and Skyward Sword, you have these very linear experiences. And again, piggybacking off of what Eugene said, you know, I think both Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild suffer from being compared to the rest of the franchise, because they're both on such opposite ends of the spectrum. Oh, Skyward Sword is too linear after, you know, Twilight Princess. Oh, Breath of the Wild doesn't have any structure after coming off of.
Come on, though, that's just me.
It's the whole internet. But, you know, like, I like Zelda games, and I like Skyward Sword for what it does well. I like Breath of the Wild for what it does well.
I've said it before. I think I would enjoy Breath of the Wild a lot more if it wasn't a Zelda game. For that exact reason that you gave, Justin. I think if it didn't have that legacy to hold on to, if it wasn't the only thing keeping me from getting another quote unquote proper Zelda game in the next 10 years, I think I'd be totally into it. You know, my biggest gripes with it are just that it kind of replaced something that I really enjoy, you know, and has kind of become the new mainstay, at least for a while. So
see, and I think have an easier time compartmentalizing it, where, you know, this is a game. Yes, it's part of this series, but this game is its own game regardless of what else came before or what else comes after it. Yeah, and I get where you're coming from, where it looks like Zelda is going to be open world for a while now.
Well, my biggest problem is just I haven't really had what I consider a Zelda game since like 2013, 2012. And we're looking at another probably 5 years before I even get a chance at the, you know, that's my thing. It's like, oh man.
I would love to see like the 2D top-down Zelda games carry on the linear dungeon structure with loose exploration, and then the 3D be, you know, the open world with some structure. You know, mix and match it, but yeah, I totally get where, like, you know, if you're used to this and then you play that, how it can be jarring.
That or I've said it before, just make it a side game where I get to play as like a Goron or a Zora or a Deku Scrub instead of Link. That would be fun. I'd really like that. I would love to roll around Breath of the Wild world as a Goron. You know, like that would be the peak for me.
I really, really, really wish that the Tingle games and all the Princess Zelda side game, I really wish those took off, because I liked that.
Yeah. Honestly, same. You know, like I was playing Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land like a long while ago for one of my... It was a fun, weird game, and I liked it a lot, dude. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like variety, you know, and kind of ties in with what you were talking about with Star Wars earlier, where, you know, like I grew up on the original movies. I loved the prequels. I am lukewarm, but don't hate the sequels. And then like all this other stuff comes out. You've got Rogue One, which is, it's Star Wars, but it's its own thing. Like, you can enjoy Rogue One without knowing anything about Star Wars. Same with Solo, you know, that's more, you know, and The Mandalorian, like, The Mandalorian's not really, at least season 1, isn't really Star Wars. It's The Lone Ranger. It just happens to take place in the Star Wars universe. And, you know, I love like the flexibility of some of these franchises like Zelda, like Star Wars, like Mario, where they can take these characters, put them in something absolutely completely different, still have it feel familiar and comforting, but also kind of pull the rug out from under you and say, here's something completely new you didn't expect. That said, there's absolutely nothing completely new that you didn't expect me to say that I was playing this week. So now that I've kind of given my opinions on what works and what doesn't about Skyward Sword, Lucas, what have you been playing? Other than one level of Sonic Colors.
Yeah, I've been playing exactly 2 games worth mentioning, and I'm going to start with the obvious one. But I'm not going to say anything yet, because Justin has something else to say. I
just going to... one sentence here to finish off my change of system. for whatever reason, I decided to go back and replay A Link to the Past on the... So when I'm not playing Skyward Sword, I'm probably playing A Link to the Past.
Are you far yet, or have you just started?
I believe I am... I've finished the first 2 dungeons, and right now I'm kind of going around and exploring everything that I can to get all of the like pieces of heart and stuff, and all the upgrades I can before I go to the 3rd dungeon. So I don't have the Master Sword yet, but you know, I'm like, I haven't played this game in years. It's one of my favorite games of all time, aside from just Zelda. So I really want to like sit back and enjoy it.
It's so weird how quickly that like early, almost like tutorial segment of the game goes by before you get to like the main chunk that is like the 7.
Especially when you've done it before.
Oh yeah.
So like I could probably bang out the first 3 dungeons and get the Master Sword in just a couple of hours if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. And it's just weird because I remember the first time I played it, just spending weeks and weeks and weeks just exploring and getting lost in dungeons. And
well, that's a great segue. So now I'm going to talk about exploring and getting lost in dungeons, because one of the games that I played a lot of this weekend was Super Metroid on the Nintendo, whatever we have, the Switch. That's the one that we're playing it on. So when we first got the Switch for my dad, which was what was it? A Father's Day present? We got it a few months ago now. It wasn't his birthday's in October. It wasn't Christmas. Anyway, we got him a Switch a while back. And I think it was Father's Day because I hit you up and I was like, hey man, I got to get the internet set up for him before he opens it. So like, let's make that happen. Because we're all on an Infendo family plan because we love each other. So before anything, he now has Mario Golf. We just picked up Mario Tennis. So he's been playing a lot of Mario Golf. Tennis has been a little bit harder to get into because, as you guys recall, kind of a weird game. Like we started it up and it starts out in like the story mode and everything. And we're like, oh my God, why is this a thing? Like, why do we have to hear about how Bowser stole the mystical racket of Marbala before, we can even get into the main game? So this Saturday, we were like, hey, let's sit down and really finish up Super Metroid. We played like the first hour or 2 of it. We played it, man. Saturday, Sunday, we pumped it out. Our total clear time, we finished it, was 5 hours, which is impressive for me because I usually take like 20 to play these games. I'm sure it's not that great, though, because all we got from Samus was like her helmet. She didn't take anything off for us, so, But, memorable like key things about it, right about the time we got to Meridia, which is right before you get the gravity suit in the haunted ship area, that was when every now and then we had to be like, all right, let's look up what we're doing wrong. The newer games, there are no guides here, so with Ridley, I'm like, I don't think we can go in lava yet, so we avoid need is gravity. And I Google like this gravity suit and they're like, you get this during the haunted ship segment. I turn it off. I'm like, haunted ship, we're going to the haunted ship. So we had to do a couple of those. By the end, things were getting intense. I redid the Ridley fight about 12 times before I finally took him out. Like it was, I don't know if we were like low on energy or low on missiles. We had like over half of the energy tanks in the game, 35 super missiles, like 80 regular missiles. Like I got to the point of desperation where I was rolling around dropping super bombs, waiting for him to swoop down.
I always remember Ridley being hard. I always do.
The AI is insanely smart for a game that old. If you drop a super bomb and he sees it, he will go back up to avoid getting hit by it. Like, just ridiculously smart AI. Like, I have never fought it.
See, I remember having that much strategy. Mine was just dodge and shoot, and shoot.
No, it became like, at first I was just like, oh, I'll just spam all my missiles straight up while he's tail attacking me. By the end, it was like, okay, he can't hit me when I'm doing a screw attack. So I'll screw attack, 1 missile, screw attack, 1 missile. Then I'll jump down, then I'll drop a bomb. Screw attack, 1 missile, screw attack, over and over again for like an hour and a half. And then we finally took him out. That
battle really, like, I don't usually think of Metroid boss battles as being strategic. Because, like you think of like platformers and stuff like, Mega Man and stuff like that, where you have like a pattern that you have to follow, and you dodge, and then here's your window where you hit, or Zelda where you gotta stun them, and like I don't usually think of that in Metroid because you have like there's no way to not get hit in a boss battle in Metroid, but the both the Ridley and the Mother Brain final battle were really tests of how little damage can I take and how much damage can I deal, because if I don't get this ratio right, I won't make it.
So for Mother Brain, yes, Eugene?
I was just going to say, I had to look it up because I remember what I used to do for that. There's like that secret technique where you like use like a bunch of bombs and a bunch of missiles or whatever, and then you can restore all your health. I remember I used to have to do that halfway through the battle or whatever. So here it's called the Restore Energy. It's called the Crystal Flash in the player's guide. This is shown in the intro. You must have at less than 50 health, including reserve tanks, at least 10 missiles, 10 super missiles, and 11 power bombs. Go into the ball and hold L, R, and down, and you will restore your energy.
That's ridiculous.
I've heard about that, and I think it's something that they didn't even discover until like the past few years.
That's really cool.
Well, no, it was in the player's guide, actually. So if you had the guide, it was in there.
Oh, really? Well, I didn't know about it when I played Super Metroid, but I also had save states. So,
well, during the Mother Brain fight, the first time I thought we took her out. Then she starts hitting us with that rainbow beam, and I'm like, okay, no, this is supposed to happen, right? Like, this is what happens. Then the baby comes in and saves us, and then it's the final fight. And I get the rainbow beam, and then all of a sudden it's, and I just die. And I'm like, okay, I guess it wasn't supposed to happen. It's in a little hiding place at the bottom of the planet. We escaped,
so
and everything
the
was
first time
amazing.
I played that game, I didn't do the animal thing, like where you do the wall jump. And
I didn't know that they were a thing. Yeah, no, I know.
That game is
I
so
felt
great.
really bad.
I don't remember whether I saved them or how many. I just remember when that timer started counting down, I like gotta go fast.
But then, as I recall, because I think if I remember right, in the Metroid timeline or whatever, I think Fusion takes place right after Super Metroid. Am I wrong there? Because
all right, Fusion